Hey Sarah, good to see you again. Today's topic is something I know a lot of people will find really helpful: living abroad. Here's the English you'll actually use. When I first moved abroad, I realized pretty quickly that the English I learned in school didn't always match what people said in real life. Like, no one was walking around saying, "Where is the library?" Instead, I had to figure out how to say things like, "Can I get this to go?" Or, "Do you have any openings next week?" One of the first things I learned was how important it is to master everyday English: ordering food, asking for directions, calling customer service. Those are the real challenges when you're abroad. For example, I remember standing in line at the bank and realizing I didn't know how to ask to open an account in a polite way. I knew the words, but I didn't know the phrases. What helped me a lot was watching local videos, like vlogs, of people doing daily tasks and repeating the phrases out loud. I even recorded myself and compared it to native speakers. It's not just about grammar, it's about sounding natural. And honestly, just learning how to say "excuse me, could you help me with this?" with confidence made a huge difference in how people responded to me. That kind of English is what you actually use when you're living abroad.
That's so true, Ali. When I moved abroad, I had the same experience. All the textbook English just kind of disappeared the moment I walked into a supermarket or needed to return something at a store. What I found most helpful was focusing on the English people actually say in casual situations. Like at the pharmacy, instead of saying, "I require medication for a headache," people just say, "Hey, what's good for headaches?" You really start picking up on tone, slang, and polite ways to ask for things. Something that helped me adjust was creating little flashcards for real-life phrases. Like, "Do you have change for a 10?" Or, "Is this seat taken?" I kept them in my phone, and whenever I had a quiet moment, I'd go over them. Also, talking to locals really helped. Even just asking a barista, "How's your day going?" builds your confidence. You realize that English abroad isn't about being perfect. It's about being clear, friendly, and polite. And here's the thing. When you live abroad, you use English in emotional situations too. Like when you're confused, frustrated, or nervous. So practicing how to express those feelings, like, "Sorry, I'm not sure I understand," or "Could you explain that a bit slower?" can really save you from awkward moments. You don't need big vocabulary, you need real-world phrases. Trust me, knowing how to say, "Is Wi-Fi included?" will help you more than knowing how to write an essay.
Exactly, Sarah. It's those little survival phrases that make a big difference. And one tip I always share is, listen to how people really talk around you. When I was living abroad, I kept a note on my phone of useful expressions I heard during the day, things like, "I'll get back to you," or "Let me double check." I'd practice saying them later, so I was ready the next time. Also, don't be afraid to ask, "Hey, what does that mean?" Most people are happy to explain, and you'll remember it better when it happens in context. Another thing, when you're abroad, you'll often deal with forms, appointments, or public transport. Learn phrases like "I have an appointment at 2 p.m. or "Where can I top up my travel card?" These are the kinds of sentences you'll use again and again, and don't underestimate small talk. Saying something simple like, "It's really hot today, huh?" can start a friendly conversation and help you feel more connected. Also, mistakes, you'll make them. I once asked a bus driver if the bus went left instead of asking if it went to a specific place. He just laughed and helped me anyway, so don't stress. The goal is communication, not perfection.
Haha, I've had moments like that too. And honestly, I think one of the best parts of living abroad is how much you grow just by trying. Every conversation is a chance to learn something new. And English becomes more than just a subject. It becomes your tool for living. One thing that helped me was setting small, daily goals. Like today, I'll ask for directions in English, or I'll talk to one new person. Over time, those moments add up. And if you're someone who's nervous to speak, just remember, most people aren't judging your grammar. They're actually impressed that you're trying. Even if you mix up words, the effort shows, and people respect that. So whether you're asking for help at the post office or chatting with someone at a cafe, just go for it. That's how you get comfortable. Also, build your English around your life. If you're a student, learn campus-related phrases. If you work in a cafe, focus on food and service vocabulary. English isn't one size fits all, so learn what you'll actually use. And finally, be patient with yourself. Every awkward conversation, every moment you didn't understand, those are steps forward. Living abroad is challenging, but the more you use English, the more it becomes a part of who you are.
That's such great advice, Sarah. I love what you said about building English around your own life. That was a game changer for me too. When I first moved abroad, I worked part-time in retail, so I focused on phrases like "would you like a receipt?" or "this item's on sale." That kind of targeted learning made me feel way more confident at work. And the funny thing is, once you're confident in one area, it starts spilling over into other situations too. Suddenly, you're not just surviving, you're actually connecting with people. I remember the first time I made a joke in English and people actually laughed, not just out of politeness. That moment made me realize I was becoming part of the community, and that's the deeper value of learning the English you actually use when you live abroad. It's not just about asking for directions or ordering lunch, it's about feeling at home in a new country. Understanding local expressions, knowing how to respond politely, even just greeting your neighbors, all of it helps you feel like you belong. So to anyone listening, don't just focus on textbook phrases. Pay attention to what people say in real life, in shops, on the bus, in TV shows. Repeat those phrases, use them out loud, make mistakes, and laugh about it later. That's how you grow.
Yes, exactly, Ali. It's those moments of connection that really matter. I remember when I was new abroad and a neighbor invited me to a barbecue. I didn't know what potluck meant, and I showed up empty-handed. But they laughed and explained it kindly, and I never forgot it. It became a new word and a funny story. Those everyday cultural moments are where language and life blend together. And if I could give just one final piece of advice to anyone living abroad, especially if you're learning English, it would be, listen more than you speak. Listen to how people greet each other, how they say no politely, how they give compliments. Language is more than vocabulary. It's tone, rhythm, timing. The more you listen, the more natural your own English becomes. And remember, fluency isn't just about speaking fast. It's about being understood and feeling confident. If you can walk into a pharmacy, ask for what you need, and walk out feeling proud, that's real success. Celebrate it.
That's such a good point. So whether you've just moved abroad, or you've been living in a new country for a while, keep practicing the kind of English you actually need. Learn how to ask for help. Learn how to be polite. Learn how to explain a problem, ask for something, say thank you, or even just make a friend. Those are the phrases that matter most, and like Sarah said, it's not about being perfect. It's about showing up every day, learning from real life, and enjoying the process. Awkward moments and all. You're building a new life and a new language at the same time. That's something to be really proud of.
Absolutely. To everyone out there living abroad and learning English, you're doing something incredibly brave. Keep learning, keep listening, and don't be afraid to speak up. You're not alone in this journey. And one day you'll look back and realize just how much you've grown. Not only as an English speaker, but as a person. You've got this. And we believe in you.
Thanks for joining us today. If this episode helped you, share it with a friend who's also living abroad and learning English. And hey, try using one new real-life phrase today. Whether it's "could I get a coffee to go?" or "I think there's been a mistake," get out there and use your English. Until next time, stay confident, stay curious, and keep going. English is your passport to a bigger world.